Hello everyone. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I have been watching a number of videos here recently on YouTube concerning Canon as well as Nikon photographers changing their systems. And for those of you who may have been following me on possibly Instagram, Facebook, especially on some of my YouTube channels, you've known for a long time I have been a devoted Nikon shooter. I've had a number of different Nikon bodies going all the way from the digital format back to the Nikon D100 and the Nikon D1 all the way up into the more modern cameras, the D800, the D810, D850, as well as this D750 that's here. And one of the things that I find that most Nikon, as well as Canon in some situations, photographers are talking about is the lack of innovation. How long it's taking for these major manufacturers, whether it's Nikon, whether it's Canon, whichever it may be, to catch up with what we as photographers, especially those of us that are hybrid shooters, are looking for from our devices. So you think about it realistically, just looking at this camera right here with the lens, the camera body, the grip, and other, accessories that would normally be attached to this, you're looking at somewhere around $4,000 to $5,000, sometimes $6,000, depending on when you purchased it and how long you've had it. Well, if you're working in a professional environment, then obviously you're able to make money with your equipment. So over a period of time, you start to make that money back. One of the biggest problems that I think that we as Nikon or Canon photographers encounter is that we're so invested into that system. We have Nikon, lenses, Nikon camera bodies, everything that's Nikon related. I have Pro Photos in my studio, and the flash trigger for my Pro Photos are for Nikon. Now, I'm not really looking for a upgrade to my studio equipment, because for what I shoot in studio, the Nikon bodies, coupled with the Nikon lenses, it works just fine. There's not a problem with that. I'm getting high quality pictures from that. But I also shoot events. I shoot weddings. I've been asked quite a few times to shoot music videos, and the Nikon bodies that I have now just are not able to accommodate what I'm looking for. Whether it's their lack in focus, autofocus, or it's file formats when it comes to video. There's no S-Log, there's no Cine feature, there's one neutral that you can kind of work with, but it doesn't give you the flexibility for your post-productions, when you're going to be doing a lot of color grading and probably adding LUTs, to get a certain look. I'm not saying that you can't do it with a Nikon. I'm just saying that Nikon, up until recently, and yes, there have been a couple of new bodies that have come out, like the Z7 and the D850, which is very capable of shooting 4K video and so on, but it's still not giving us the flexibility that we're looking for. So what I've done, and I see this a lot happening right now, many Nikon, many Canon photographers are taking the hit. They're selling their old equipment, they're upgrading, they're buying new equipment, and they're expanding, and they're purchasing the new Sony bodies. This right here is the Sony A7 III. If you've been watching any videos about this camera, it's a remarkable camera for what it can do for the price range. I got actually this camera with the kit lens for under $2,000 with Sony rebates. And so far, I haven't really had a lot of time, to really test out the camera and do a lot of shooting with it or something like that. But I am very happy so far with the few images that I have captured with it as I played with it a little bit. Now, I do have a couple of events coming up, and I will be using this kind of as a B-roll camera, going forward. But the point I'm getting at here, guys, is that I understand, many of us, who have invested a lot of time and effort and, our loyalty to a certain brand. The key to so much of this is picking what works. So if it's Nikon that works for you, if it's Canon that works for you, if it's Sony that works for you, Pick the camera body that's going to give you the best result. You know, many of us, you know, who have invested a lot of time and effort and, you know, our loyalty to a certain brand. The key to so much of this is picking what works. So if it's Nikon that works for you, if it's Canon that works for you, if it's Sony that works for you, pick the camera body that's going to give you the best result, the lenses that are going to give you the best result. Whether it's native lenses, whether you're using a converter, to try and adapt Canon lenses to possibly, the Sony body, whatever works for you within your workflow. If you're someone who most of the time, shoots and you're pulling focus because you use more manual focus lenses, then you have a huge range of lenses that you can choose from. If you're a more run and gun type of shooter, then you're going to be looking for something that has a really, really good autofocus system. And that's primarily what I was looking for. I was looking for something that I could throw on a gimbal. I can, put it in the file format that I want. I can choose the focus system that I want, and I can just get out there and shoot. Now, that's not to say that I don't monitor my screen, because any professional is going to do that. You're going to use your zebras. You're going to use your peaking to make sure that you're staying in focus and things like that. But all those tools that automatically come with these devices just make your job that much easier. All right, guys, I didn't want to make this a really long video, but I did want to give you guys a little bit of insight as to why I have been slowly migrating over to the Sony system. Now, that does not say that I'm going to get rid of all of my Nikon cameras, because that's not my plan. But going forward, for a lot of the different types of projects I do, especially when it comes to like real estate videos, corporate videos, wedding videos, I think Sony is going to become the more dominant system going forward. But only time will tell. So until then, guys, it's your friend Rome. I will catch you guys in the next video, and you have an amazing day.